Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and my name is David. I do videos about Germany, studies in Germany in general. Um, in today's video, we are going to talk about studying in a small town in Germany versus studying in a big city in Germany. And after that, you can compare for yourself. And yeah, so let's get right to it and let's pick the points one by one. So I'm going to start with a small town, studying in the small town advantages, and after that I go to the disadvantages, then I go to the big city. So studying in a small town, let's say you got admission or you apply to a university which is located in a small town like 10,000 population, or let's say in a remote area. It's not a big city. It's not like, in Germany we have a lot of schools, also good schools located in the suburban areas or small town. They also perform very well. It's not like because they are in the suburban areas they are not good universities. They're also very good universities. Okay guys, so the first one I'm going to talk about is that documentations in a small town is really easy. Documentations. If you come to Germany, this is one thing you are going to really face. I mean, you have to register at the city center. The municipality that you belong to, you have to register there, where the address that you live. This this documentation or this city registration is really, really important because, for example, if you apply for a job, you need it. Um, if you want to open a bank account, you need it. There are a lot of stuff, even for your enrollment, you also need it. There are lots of things that you can use that city registration paper or the certificate to do. And getting this done is really easy. It's easy when you are staying in a small town because you don't have too many people going to the assembly or the district or the municipality to do that. So you have the chance to always go there the time that you want. Okay, guys, so the second point is that if you study in a small town in Germany, um, obviously your expenses is going down. It will be low. Obviously your expenses will be low, and I mean for rent, for some basic stuff, everything is quite lower than compared to the city. So you can get a cheaper student accommodation, which you might pay a lot or you not even find one in the city. So it's really good in terms of expenses for rent and everything like this. If you are studying in a small town, then you are going to enjoy these price reductions for that. So if you get your block account for every month, it means that you are going to use lesser amount to pay for these expenses compared to someone who is living in a city like Munich or Berlin or Frankfurt and other cities, big cities. Okay, guys, the next one is that if you study in a small town or in a village or a suburban area, you are going to adapt to the German system or the German culture very easily, and you can even study the language very easily because most of the people in the rural area might not speak English, or even if they know, they might not speak it, or they don't even know at all. So sometimes it's easier for you to try, it push you to learn so that you can even speak with them. So I think studying in a small town will give you that advantage as compared to someone in the city. So this is something that is really, really important. I mean, coming to Germany or you have plans to stay here for some time, you need to learn the language. And studying in the rural area or the small town, you're going to meet people, you want to communicate, and I think most of them will not want to speak English with you. And if you try to always speak English, you can never learn German. This is obvious. This is really, really something you should know. Yeah. Okay, guys. So the next one is if you study in a small town, obviously there's less stress. Let me tell you, in Germany, if you are living in a city, there's too much stress. So, navigating yourself in a city is really stressful. Everything, you want to catch the train, you want to catch the next bus, you want to catch, everything. You're going to work, you need to go on time, everything is timely, So, but in a rural setting, um, it's not obviously like that because you know the community very well, you know your way around. You can even walk past the whole community maybe in a day. It's not that big. But compared to these kind of big cities like Munich, Berlin, um, it's really stressful. Everything. If you want to go to the supermarket, there are a bunch of people waiting on the line. You have to be fast. Everything begins to be stressful for you. So I think studying in the small town give you the edge to freely, walk around, make your own stipulated times, and when you want to catch the bus or the train or something like that, it's easier. Okay, guys. So the next one is that if you live in a small town, the small town is very conducive, and you have this conducive environment. And if you come to Germany, most of the rich people, and let me put it that way, they live in the suburban areas. They don't live in the city center. They don't want noise. They don't want this kind of pollution, air pollution. They want to be with nature, and yeah, those places is very cool. I like it in German villages or German small towns. It's really cool. Yeah, sometimes you have hills, you have forests, it's really, really good. So I think also one of the advantages of living in a small town. Okay, guys, so now let's go to the disadvantages. So, the first and the most important thing you need to know is that if you are studying in a small town, finding a student job is really difficult. The small town, they don't have a lot of job offers. Most of the companies are setting up in the cities, and few of them, might settle in a small town. And these limited available jobs that is in the small town, you're also competing with other students, you know. So it's quite difficult. I've seen a lot of students who come from some suburban areas or small towns or villages around Bavaria, and they come to Munich to find a job or to work for some time. Before the corona, many students were coming, and they come in the vacation period, like 3 months. They come and work, and then when school reopens, they go back. But now, because of the corona, everything's online, so they stay here for maybe a year or something, and they continue to work here. And even where I'm working, we have a lot of people from these small towns, and they've come to settle in Munich and to find a job, because it's difficult finding a job in a small town or in a village or something like that. Especially if you can't even speak German, that's very, very bad. Another thing is that if you are studying in a small town, you might lack the city vibes, the city mechanism, some of the things that are really going on in the city. Like, in the city we have trains, we have trams, we have buses. In the villages, you might have only buses, and sometimes navigating yourself in the city is really, really difficult. But so if you stay in a small town, you want to come back, you want to one day visit the city, it might be so stressful for you, and you might get lost many times, as many as possible. Because trust me, most of even the Germans who stay in a rural setting, I've met a lot of people in Munich that they ask me for directions, they ask me for places, because it's difficult. And even taking the train, if you don't take it, you might take the wrong direction, it's something that is usual. Okay, guys, so let's go on to studying in the city. Most of the advantages of studying in a small town might become a disadvantage for the city, and vice versa. So, but as I said, studying in a city, it gives you the opportunity for a lot of job availability, and it's easier to find a job than compared to studying in if you are living in the rural area or a small town. So in Munich, for example, there are lots of companies, even international companies, who are setting their offices in Munich. And like Amazon, we have about two companies, two warehouse for Amazon only in Munich, so you can imagine, and it employs a lot of people. So there are lots of jobs in the cities than compared to a small town, obviously. So that's a big advantage. I mean, if you study, you are attending a university or a school in one of the big cities in Germany. Okay, guys. So the next advantage studying in a city is that you are being exposed to many cultures. I mean, if you come to, for example, if you come to Munich, or you go to Frankfurt or Berlin, um, you see a lot of people from different parts of the world. So you work with people from different parts of the world. You go to school with different people. I mean, every place that you go, you see many people. You learn from people, and I think it's really really important. Even though it's a German city, but it's more like international. Yeah. So you meet people from all over the world. You try to learn. I learn a lot from my friends from China, my friends from other places in Asia, and also even in Africa. I mean, I have a lot of Nigerian friends, also Ghanaian friends. I have a lot of people from all over the world, and I think it's cool to learn from other people, other cultures. So it's really important to have such an environment with other people. You have a lot of Indians. I mean, it's a whole lot of people, and I love it. I like it that way. So that's one advantage of also living in a city. Okay, guys. So let's go to the disadvantages for living in a city. So the first one, obviously, documentations is really really difficult. It's really really difficult in the big cities. For example, if you want to register your address, like I talked about, it's really difficult. If you want to extend your visa, it's difficult. You have to pass through a whole lot of, I mean, procedure. And yeah, and sometimes if even if you have an emergency and you have to get a visa, maybe to return home or something, you need to go and show a proof. You need to join a queue sometimes. And then obviously the second one is high expenses. I mean, um, in Munich, for example, housing is really expensive. Accommodation. I mean, if you don't get a student apartment, then you are going to pay a lot because private apartments are really expensive. So also food might not be that expensive compared to the rural area, but then everything is a little bit higher compared to the village. So that is one thing you have to note. So you have high expenses in the city. You have to buy your train tickets or your bus tickets, or, transportation, and everything is really high in the city. So that is also one disadvantage of living in the city. Unlike in the, I have friends who told me they are studying in a small town, and they don't even take the bus or something. They don't have to buy tickets because they have bicycles. They ride to school, and that's it. But in the city, you can't do that. By the time you get to the classroom or by the time you get to lectures, you're already tired. You can't be riding bicycle all the time. So you have to buy the ticket, and it's expensive also. So if you're lucky in your school, um, add it to the student contribution, then that's fine. That's fine. If you're already in Germany and you are studying in a small town, or you are studying in a city, and you have experience, you can also share in the comment section for all of us to also know. So guys, thank you for watching the video. I know this is a long video because I mean these are really really important information that you need to know. So thank you for watching the video, and stay tuned for another videos coming up, and thank you very much. Bye.